This is a draw. Oh, come on. This is a draw. That's a draw.
Okay.
This is a book
This might
draw.
be a win, actually.
Oh, what is this?
As gracious and as ladylike as that sounded, yes, this indeed is a book draw. So is this. And that's because of a weird rule in chess. Take this position for example. Regardless of the clock situation, it is an automatic draw. That's because black does not have sufficient mating material. But in this position, if white's clock runs out, black wins. Yes, that one pawn makes all the difference. Because assuming the worst possible moves by white, checkmate is technically possible. This is how it happens. You are essentially punished for having material and trying to win. Chess is brutal like that. But perhaps the grandest stage for this devious rule to rear its ugly head was the 2019 World Blitz Championship in Moscow. Alireza was wiping the floor with Magnus Carlsen. Nothing special, this was back when Alireza had just left Iran for France, so as to play comfortably without the hijab. And everyone was certain he'd be the next world champion. Well, India happened, and now, nobody knows. But this remains one of the toughest losses to swallow. Without those white pawns, it's a dead draw. But with the pawns on the board, after Alireza dropped a piece and lost on time, even an intense argument with the arbiter couldn't change the result. Magnus wins. Tip number 10. I genuinely feel bad for spreading this filth, but if you find yourself in this position, and your opponent is low on time, do not capture the pawn. Block its path with your king, then shuffle your bishop aimlessly until your opponent's clock hits 0. I won't explain why you should avoid shuffling between the same two squares. The threefold nerds will handle that in the comments. Welcome to the dirtiest chess video on the internet. I am Mortal Chess. And to quote Machiavelli's The Prince, one must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Yes, most of us are just prey pretending to be above the hunt. So if you're ready to stop confusing your weakness for morality, here is number 9. The premove execution. Premoves are vital, because you can often predict an opponent's move with 100% certainty. After a rook check on d2, you know the king is entering the e-file. While he's thinking, you premove queen e1 check. On Lichess, this costs 0 time. On chess.com, it costs 0.1 seconds. But you can chain multiple premoves for style points. If you're bold enough, you can premove a forced mate against Magnus Carlsen himself, and then walk out of the room before the board even updates.
Oh my god!
He's got it.
Yeah,
he has it.
He got it.
And that
he has
is
enough
it?
time. GG.
Oh.
Wow. He's walked away. Did you
Yeah.
premove? Oh my god.
Yeah, you know,
He just walked away.
He was probably rushing to his second job. Hashtag, pay these grandmasters. Anyway, the premove was queen g2, regardless of what Magnus plays. Can you see it? Yeah, nasty work by Vladislav. But on the same topic of premoves, we have tip number 8. The Lefong trap. Yes, premoves carry risk. And the Lefong is the ultimate punishment for mindless speed. Many King's Indian/modern defense players have a habit of pre-moving bishop g7 immediately after g6. For intimidation purposes, of course. Enter FIDE Master Lefong. He plays bishop h6, a blunder, but as soon as the opponent's pre-move bishop g7 hits the board, it's now a brilliant move. The bishop is captured, and so is the rook.
Bishop h6, guys. No one is watching. Oh, they all missed that. I see the tilt. I can feel the tilt. Oh my god, they all missed that.
It's filthy treachery. But as you already suspect, it does have its downsides.
Okay, 2172, this is a great pairing, actually. Good, and now he'll resign. Please resign. Dude, please resign. Come on. Okay, good.
You live by the sword. You die by the sword. Captain Jack Sparrow 1867. Probably. 7. Hovering piece. There are ways to play fast without pre-moving. Notice how Hikaru hovers his bishop over g7, so he can release at the millisecond c4 is played. That is how you play quickly. In blitz chess, you do not sit on your hands waiting for things to happen. Save that behavior for your real-life dreams and aspirations. But what if the opponent plays a move that requires you to move your knight instead? Most players make the mistake of dragging the bishop back, releasing, then clicking the knight to capture. Hikaru is faster. He drags the bishop onto the piece he actually wants to move, and clicks. The UI automatically snaps the bishop back to its original square, allowing him to instantly grab the knight. It's a subtle way to save precious seconds, when the distance your cursor moves actually matters. And that's tip number 6. The drop-off capture. In a time scramble, dragging a piece across the board is slow. Take this position for example. You're not sitting on your hands, so your queen is already hovering on d6. Yes, let us assume you actually saw a move like queen d6. But your opponent plays bishop takes f6. Here's the tip. Don't drag the queen all the way back to d1. Release. Then drag the cursor all the way to g5 to capture. Simply drag the queen onto your pawn. The UI will reset the queen, allowing you to click and capture the bishop instantly. They call it mouse speed, but these are the subtle techniques that add up to a significant time advantage at the end. 5. Know your openings. Nothing burns time like being in unfamiliar territory on move 3. Using the same brain that still thinks the government has your best interests at heart. Yeah, I envy your optimism. You probably think she'd stay too, if you lost your job. But if you have the first 10 moves of your repertoire on lock, you don't just get a better position, you get a time advantage. That is vital in Blitz. And it's why for this video, I've partnered with chessreps.com. They've created a fun, gamified way to learn even the dirtiest openings like the King's Gambit, in the shortest time possible. Chessreps.com immediately highlights where you usually go wrong, helps you find the correct approach and then drills it into your muscle memory with their unique time trials and drill mode. Even if you're an ultra-solid player, chessreps.com is still the essential tool, with a plethora of openings like the Caro-Kann, QGD, and the London system. Yes, the London. Clearly everyone is welcome there. So try it out for free, and if you love it, for as little as $3 per month, you can give yourself an unfair advantage in the opening. Chessreps.com. Click the link in the pinned comment, and test how well you know that opening you love so much. 4. The ladder mate. The ladder mate is always fastest. Always. If you ever find yourself in this position, you're the winning side with all these pieces on the board, but you only have 5 seconds left on the clock. Don't look for the mate in 3, you won't find it in time. Promote a pawn to a queen or rook and execute the ladder mate. It might take 15 moves instead of 3, but those moves are pre-movable, and brainless. You can play the whole sequence in under 3 seconds. So as a rule, always go for the ladder mate. 3. The draw security. If you are down to your last few seconds, and your opponent has a king and pawns, stop trying to find a checkmate. Hedge your bets. Capture every single pawn first. Capturing is a simple cognitive task. If you flag against a lone king, it's a draw. If you flag against a king and one tiny pawn, you lose. Clean the board, secure the draw, and then, if time permits, go for the ladder mate. But that's up to you. Some people would rather lose than draw. It's a personality thing. They would rather burn the house down than split it evenly. Yeah, it's a personality thing, I think. But in that same spirit, if you are the one with the lone king, and the time, don't run to an empty corner. Move your king toward your opponent's cluster of pieces. Not to capture, but to use his own material as a shield. It makes it awkward, and harder for him to find clean mating patterns. When his clock hits 0, you will see that instantaneous rematch offer. It is important that you accept it. An emotional opponent is a weak opponent. And you should be the one benefiting from his tilt. Tip number 2. Abandon technique. Endgames. The most sophisticated, high IQ territory in chess. Pure understanding, and 0 opening traps to hide behind. But let's be honest, with 18 seconds on your clock, you aren't Magnus. You're just a baboon with a mouse. This is where the gentleman's game ends, and the street fight begins. Take this position. You're one move faster than your opponent. You will see this exact endgame 1,000 times on your journey to 2000. Theoretically, The only way to win is to march your king to the 6th rank, and capture that pawn before it promotes. And yes, there's a hidden technique for it. It's beautiful. But the problem with these 2200 rated types is that they try to paint a masterpiece with 10 seconds on the clock. Listen to me. There are two variables here: technique and time. If you have both, great. There's no better feeling than clinical execution. But the moment that clock hits the red zone, you have to abandon technique. You have to stop being a scholar and start being a predator. You spam checks. You flood the general area with queen moves. Yes, a king is no match for a queen in a scramble. The queen has no illegal moves. But if you have all the time in the world and still no technique, well, let's not even go there. That's just embarrassing. But between you and I've compiled every practical endgame you actually need to reach 2000 into a 1-hour, no fluff, no BS guide. Click the link in the description and learn from Mortal Chess, because apparently I have the best technique. Yes, your grandma told me in person. Tip number 1. The Rosen Trap. Nothing depicts the beauty of dirty chess like the Rosen Trap. When your opponent has a huge material advantage on you, and you have king and one heavy piece. To make things simpler, your opponent just wants to trade your queen, and transition into a simple endgame. Your job is to bait that trade in the corner. So you dodge checks, move to the corner, and set up the trap. These are the 4 key squares. This is where you bait the capture. And your opponent, who is sure you will recapture his queen, will often premove a pawn push. But instead of recapturing, you move into the corner. He pushes the pawn, likely a premove, and the board freezes. Stalemate. This is international master Eric Rosen himself putting it to use.
Watch this, watch this, watch this. Ooh, free queen. Now watch this. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Take the rook. Yes, the Rosen Trap.
It's filthy, it's nasty. But since it's the endgame, I say it's beautiful. As always, take care of your pets, and when you can, try to give a little back. Cheers, see you next week.